California. Just thought I would take 30 minutes to come on here, talk to you guys, see how everyone's doing, how the start of everyone's season is going, and yeah, just get caught up with you guys. If you guys have been checking out the channel, we've had a bunch of videos drop this past week, so I hope you guys had the chance to check those out. And tomorrow is a vlog dropping from opening week at Mammoth. So if you guys want to see the first week of snow at Mammoth, check out that video tomorrow. It was Mammoth, like opening week was pretty crazy. I think over like a 3-day period, they got 80 plus inches of snow. So there was like a super deep opening like week, and it was incredible. So that video is coming for you guys soon. And we got people entering the chat. We got a bunch of people coming in here. Thanks for hopping on, guys. Another video I've got coming out this week too is my snowboard gear list video. So all the gear that I've picked up for this upcoming season, I've got a video coming out about that. So yeah, let me know how you guys are doing, if your local resort is opening, and yeah, just what you guys are excited for this season. I'm gonna think of a question to ask you guys too. It'd be good to get some of your feedback. What's like a good question to start off the season? Okay, I've got one. So let me know in the chat what is your snowboard goal for this season. So if you have one goal in particular, let me know what it is in the chat. So let's say hi to some people that have already popped in. We got David L asking, are you going to be in Northstar this weekend? I'm not sure. I feel like, so we've done 2 days now at Northstar. It's been awesome. They have a really cool small park setup down by the bottom of the run. So Northstar is super fun because of the park setup they have. They've got a few different runs open as well. You can even kind of dip into the trees in certain places that they have like open, and there's some kind of like really mellow kind of tree riding here. But this weekend, we might go to Palisades, because yeah, it's Palisades opening weekend, and yeah, a bunch of places are opening. So across the Tahoe area, I feel like there's a ton of places opening this weekend. So not sure where we're gonna be, but yeah, definitely gonna be mixing it up between Northstar, Palisades, and yeah, the rest of the videos in the area. Velian saying, sup Kiev, how are you? Yeah, doing good. It's super exciting time of year with like the snow's coming, resorts are opening, so it's just like one of the best times of the year. So I'm just super happy to be near some place where they have snow and mountains and get to ride as much as I can. So yeah, feeling good. Travel with Love says, greetings from SoCal. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Awesome, thank you. Also, guys, let me know how everything is sounding. I've got like a new microphone set up for the live chat, so I hope everything is sounding good for you guys. Velian says, can't wait for the snow here in Bulgaria, going to Chamonix in February. Oh, amazing. Yeah, somebody's saying a goal for this year is 360s off jumps. Awesome, that's a great goal to have for sure. Luke saying yes, Banff, we opened this past week. That's amazing. Ivan also is saying 360s and attempting a Miller flip. Awesome, man. Yeah, Miller flips, those look super fun. AK Big Jake says to make a snowboard film. Let's go. Awesome, man. That's awesome. AK Big Jake, are you in AK? Are you up in Alaska? Because yeah, that's like the prime location for a snowboard film. Day Job Shredder says, first time in Steamboat next month for me. Want to move to park this year after I get comfy on my carving and butters. That's a great goal for sure. Yeah, it's good to set it up first with some carving and butter tricks, and then you can start to progress into the park. Valiant's goal is to learn sevens, working on my Wildcat, and generally more POW skills, man. Awesome. Yeah, that's a good set of goals right there. Quendy says, are you gonna ever go to Palisades? Yeah, so I think the goal this weekend is to check out Palisades. it'll be my first time ever riding there, so I'm excited to check it out. And yeah, from the photos and stuff I've seen, it looks like an amazing place, like really steep, alpine-y type runs. So I'm excited to check out Palisades. Yeah, it looks like a difficult advanced mountain, but here at Northstar is super fun too. Northstar looks like it's so promising for trees and for really like cruisy, surfy laps. Catchy says, my goal, run into you at the mountain somewhere. Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, hope I see you. If I see you up here, come say hello, Catchy. That's awesome. Cameron's goal is to get turning and hitting most of the rails in the terrain park. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, thanks everyone for sharing all their goals. Jake from Insane 3 Art says Palisades is a blast. They should have a good snow base now too. Awesome, man. Yeah, Jake, let us know if you're going to be up in the area. We'll definitely link up. And yeah, the video that's dropping tomorrow, Jake is actually in that video. So we were riding out together at Mammoth the other day. So yeah, had an amazing time riding with Jake there. Michael says, hey Kevin, great vids, man. Very awesome. My progression next season for me will be practicing doing switch backside airs. Cheers. Awesome. Mick, Australia. That's a great goal, man. Yeah, thanks for checking out the videos. We got Travis watching from Morocco. Awesome, that's really cool. Apparently there's a place you can actually snowboard in Morocco as well. It would be great to hit up that sometime. Jur, how do you get those quality wild streaming? Oh, wild streaming in the wild. Yeah, I think the signal here in Northstar is really good. Yeah, I think the quality of the data here is on point. Zach says, what's up from Chico? Only 2.5 hours from Northstar. Favorite place to go up in Tahoe. Awesome, man. Okay, Silva says, Kevin, do you have any experience, have you ever experienced hip pain from counter rotation a lot, like doing a lot of backside shifties? I have had some hip pain from snowboarding. I think that's fairly common because there's a lot of twisting happening. I would say that if you know what it is that's giving you that hip pain, maybe try and lay off of that for a while, because I think if you keep doing it repetitively, it's just gonna make that worse. One thing you could possibly do is try to improve your flexibility, off the snow first, so that when it does come time to take tricks into the park, you're not straining yourself too much. So, but I would say, yeah, if a trick like that is giving you some kind of hip pain, to lay off of it, maybe adjust your technique if you can, and try to do it without really torquing on that hip, and yeah, develop some kind of stretching or movement routine outside of snowboarding to kind of alleviate some of that. Gucci says, the MIPS on my helmet broke when I hit my head last season. Can I still wear it, or should I buy a new one? I think you should definitely just buy a new one. It's not, if anything on your helmet breaks, I think it's always the best call to just get a new one. You know, usually helmets are between $100 to $150, and it's going to protect your brain. So I think it's worth it just to go for the new one. I actually got a new helmet this year too. I picked up the Smith Maze, and yeah, I really like the Smith Maze. Really comfortable, lightweight. But yeah, you guys will see that in my gear video coming out in a couple days. All right, lots of great questions. If I miss your question, I'm gonna try to answer as many as I can. Garav says, my boss doesn't understand how I learned snowboarding on YouTube. This is beyond his imagination. That's awesome. I mean, yeah, I mean, nowadays you can learn just about anything online. Everything that I learned about camera stuff, microphones, even the research I do for snowboard gear, everything I learn is from the internet. So yeah, you can learn most things online nowadays. Sean asks, how are the chair lift lines? So the lift lines at Northstar are like pretty much zero. Like you can just, once you get to the bottom, you pretty much just get straight onto the run. I don't think onto the chair. I don't think we've really waited in line all day today. So it's really, really quiet here. The Family Shred asking, how is Kirkwood? So I haven't been to Kirkwood yet, but I am planning on checking out Kirkwood once it opens up. That's one of the mountains I haven't been to before, and I've heard great things. That it's like really steep and you get some pretty cool terrain over there. So can't wait for Kirkwood. Day Job Schroeder says, speaking of helmets, what's your opinion on Ruroc? So for me, I think Ruroc is it's just too much helmet. Like I don't think you need like the full face helmet setup for snowboarding. I know that some people are into it. I know, so if you're one of those people, maybe the Ruroc helmet is your thing. But for me, I just think going the full face route is probably too much. But I do think that now Ruroc does a helmet that's more of a normal, just a normal helmet. So, but I haven't had the chance to check out their regular helmets before. Reno Bailey wants to know, are you going to be in Utah at all this season? Possibly, yeah. I've always wanted to ride in Utah. I did one day last year, and it was like really early season, and nothing was really open yet. So I'd love to get back to Utah at some point and ride like on some proper powder days out there. So we'll just see how the season goes. And yeah, I mean, there's tons of places to check out around the Tahoe area in Northern California. So I'll see how everything goes here, but it would be great to check out Utah as well. Max says, hey, are you going to try out the new Union Ultras this season? Possibly. The one thing one reason I may not try them out is because I do really like snowboard bindings that have the high back adjustment, because like for myself, I do like to ride with a bit more forward lean on my high back. So I think the Ultras don't have a high back adjustment. So that would be one reason why I don't pick them up or try them out. So yeah, they look really cool though. They look like a really cool, well-made binding. I do have the Union Stratas, and yeah, I like the Stratas because you can like adjust the high back on it. But yeah, the Union Ultras look pretty sick too. The Val Bunnies says, have you ever ridden a battalion board? I got one for my next trip December. Never rid it before. So yeah, battalion boards are super fun. So the cool thing with the battalion is that towards the contact points, like towards the nose and tail, the edges actually lift up away from the snow. So it gives you like a really sort of catch-free feeling as you ride. I think especially in powder, like for powder riding, it feels pretty cool. Just being able to dip into turns from heels to toes. You really have like a smooth turn transition because the edges raise away from the snow like that. Jury says, for riding switch, I switched my straps so my other foot is in front. Practice for 6 hours, but progress is slow. Any more tips? Man, if you practice for 6 hours, that's huge. I think a big part of learning anything new, like, and especially switch, is that if you've put in the time, like practicing it, what's gonna happen is that now that you've put in that time, when you take some time away, your mind is actually gonna think of riding switch and how that feels, so that when you come back to it next time, you're actually gonna get even better than the last time you rode switch. So however you were feeling at that end of that 6 hour switch riding session, when you come back to riding switch, you're gonna feel like you've progressed on to the next step. So I would just say stick with it. you know, you don't have to fully commit like that again, but you know, just keep mixing switch into your riding every single run, and you're gonna notice yourself just getting better and better. But that's awesome that you put in that 6 hours of work. Uh, Good question. Gucci says, which mountain slash ski resort from your experience gave you the worst sunburn? That's a good question. So I would say that most places I either wear a face mask, or if I'm just in the sun, I do put some sunscreen on. But I guess in the winter time, the worst sunburn I got would be in Whistler, and it was on a cold day, but my like face was exposed, and I think because it was cold, I didn't understand how intense the sun was. So I got a pretty decent kind of like springtime sunburn, like goggle burn. That was quite a few years ago. But since then, riding in the summertime at Mount Hood, maybe like 3 years ago, in the summer at Mount Hood, I got a pretty good sunburn actually inside my nostrils. So like my nose and like inside my nostrils got pretty burnt. So that was probably the worst one. So ever since then, anytime I'm riding at Mount Hood, I always bring lots of sunscreen and get some inside my nose as well. Silva says, what's your favorite trick? So my favorite trick last year was on a day I was practicing like tame dog front flips into powder. And so that was definitely like, it's probably my favorite trick. One of my favorite tricks for sure. And I can't wait to start doing some more of those. So just finding like a spot and doing flips into powder, like to me, that's like so much fun. Besides that, this past summer, I did get a front board slide on a down rail, and that was a trick I didn't think I would ever be able to do. And so when I finally got it, I was like super, super happy. So, I mean, between those two tricks, those ones really get me excited. Bruno says, have you ever heard about the Capita Super DOA, and how do you like Capita in general? Yeah, I think Capita in general, they make awesome boards. So a few years ago, I did actually own and ride the Super DOA, and yeah, it's a super fun board. It's really light. It's a bit stiffer. Like it's a park board that's a bit stiffer as well. So you can really take it charging at high speeds. It gives you lots of stability, and it's a very lively board too. So when you go to like ollie, it gives you back a lot of energy. So I think a really just awesome all around board. I think is my second favorite park board of all time, the Super DOA. It's really good. Somebody saying I have a mullet. It's not a mullet. It's not short in the front. It's long. It's long everywhere. Cree says, what do you think the winter's going to be like? I think it's going to be cold and will last well into April. I mean, it always changes. The funny thing with winter, I find, is that you can never quite predict it. Like it's going to be from week to week, the weather just changes so much. So I just usually go with the flow, try to make the most of pow days. And when it's sunny, just like get out and enjoy the sun and park too. So, but yeah, I feel like yeah, the last bunch of seasons have had really great springs and have gone well into May. So hopefully it's a long season. Hugo, your thoughts on the Capita Mercury? So I did ride the Capita Mercury last spring, and in my opinion, for my type of riding, it's just a bit too aggressive. So it's too camber dominant, a bit too stiff, and I was feeling, because it's like very camber dominant, you feel like it's a little bit catchy. So for me, it's just like too much of an aggressive board. So it's not one that I would pick up, and but it does serve a purpose for certain types of riders who like that really aggressive, positive camber style. But I think if you're like an advanced or expert rider, then the Mercury could be perfect for you. But beginners or intermediate riders is probably going to be a struggle. It's going to be a bit catchy. Gucci says, throughout your life, have you seen any drastic changes to mountain conditions all around the world due to climate change? Um, Not really. I guess like, you know, I haven't I I haven't had the experience of like traveling all over the world for that long. I've really only been traveling for snowboarding the last few years. So it's really hard for me to say, but like my first year in Whistler was in 2003. My first year was actually not a very good snow season. Um, and I think the next year too, 2004 was another like really poor snow season. So there was early in my snowboard career, like being at a big mountain, the snow conditions were pretty rough. And I know my last year in Whistler in 2021 was one of like the best, like most snowy years we've ever had. So, I mean, it's hard for me to just to say from my personal experience because I haven't been around a lot of mountains for that long, but yeah, so far the snow's staying around, and yeah, hopefully we continue to get these snowy winters to come. Ben says, planning on getting my first setup and planning on the huck knife. Wanted to see if that's a good call. Yeah, I think the huck knife is a good like beginner to intermediate style park snowboard, or just like a board for riding the groomers. So yeah, if you're kind of in that level, I think it's perfect. Even if you're kind of like a low advanced rider, I think the huck knife is still fun. It's kind of like a softer, playful park board, and it can kind of do a bit of everything between park and groomers. So yeah, I think that's a super fun board, and it comes in like at a pretty low price too. So that's important. Ricardo, favorite mountain in South America. Um, awesome. In South America, I've only been to a couple mountains, but the best day that I had was in, oh, what's the name of the place?
Coralco.
In Coralco. Yeah, Coralco, Chile. Definitely had my best days in South America at Coralco, Chile. Um, but yeah, I haven't had a ton of experience with the other mountains too. I'm sure the other ones are great as well, but yeah, Coralco, Chile was my favorite. Oh, the sun came back out. Oh, it's feeling nice. Cam is asking flow burst opinions. Yeah, what is the flow burst? Yeah, let me know what that is. Frank wants to know, are you going to ride Heavenly? Definitely, yeah. Gonna check out Heavenly some more this year. I got to ride Heavenly just once last year and had an awesome powder day out riding with Casey Willax. And yeah, Heavenly is super cool. There was tons of snow there the day that I rode, and like really fun in the trees. So yeah, I want to get back and explore some more. David wants to know who's with me on the mountain. So Yannick is with me. There he is. You. Yeah, Yannick has helped me like film and edit this season, so we're like a SPC team this year. Matthew says Libtacs are the best powder boards for powder riders. Yeah, Libtacs make some awesome powder boards for sure. James, what is the best mountain you've ever rode? I mean, yeah, there's so many good ones. I feel like the best, just from all the experience, but also from my time there, was definitely like Whistler and Blackcomb Mountains. Just the fact that there's two mountains in one place, and they're both like so big, so much terrain, so much to explore. I think those are the best too, but there's definitely a ton of mountains there too that are out there that are great in different ways as well. But yeah, I feel like each place has something unique. But yeah, shout outs to Mount Baker in Washington, Crystal Mountain, Washington. Where else? Niseko, Japan. St. Anton in Austria. Just there's so many incredible mountains out there. The Urban Third says, does it bother you that they're modifying the weather to create this snow? Are they really? Are they doing that? I didn't know they could do that. Is that real or is that like a conspiracy theory? Alexander says, my board is really stiff and I want a more flex board. Any good suggestions? Mostly used in slopes. Man, it's hard to just give you there's so many out there that are that softer flex, and most of the boards that I've ridden have actually not been that soft. But yeah, I mean, the best thing to do is just to check it out, check out what's out there and just look at the flex rating of each board. And if you prefer softer flex boards, maybe find something that's like a 3 or a 4 on the flex scale. James wants to know, what are the best mittens you have worn? My hands are always so cold. Oh, so if you have really cold hands, then you may not like my best mittens. So my favorite mittens are the crab grab punch mitt. I feel like those ones have been like they're inexpensive, they work really well, but they're kind of more like a light to mid-weight mitten, so they're not super warm. So if you want something that's warm, I would say my next choice would be like the Volcom Gore-Tex mitt. I was actually looking at maybe picking up a pair of those, but yeah, check out the Volcom Gore-Tex mitts. Those are pretty comfortable, I think warm, and will keep your hands dry as well. Martin says, medium versus large stratas for size 10 rulers. Definitely go with the large. Yeah, for a size 11, you need a large for sure. So my boots are a 9.5 and I have a large. So for sure, go for the large. I think for 11, I don't think you'll actually fit into the medium. Glib wants to know if I'm ever going to come to Quebec for snowboarding. No time soon. Like right now, I'm kind of like the opposite side of the continent from you. But my first ever snowboard trip was actually to Mount Tremblant in Quebec. So actually, it was a ski trip. I was like 13 years old, and my friend's dad took us out there for a weekend. So Quebec is pretty cool for Eastern mountains. Hannah Banana wants to know if we're going to Japan this winter. I don't think we're going to make Japan this winter for a few reasons, but one reason is I just want to explore all the resorts around here in Tahoe, the Tahoe area. Japan is like the best place for powder for sure, but man, would love to go to Japan, but I don't think it's going to happen this winter. And yeah, Silva wants to know, what's the deepest POW I've ever ridden? Definitely the deepest was in Niseko, Japan. Niseko, Japan, like I've had insanely deep snow in a few places though too, like Whistler, there's been some insanely deep snow. Last year, the deepest snow was at Mount Baker in Washington. And we did a heli trip in Alaska, and that was some of the deepest snow like ever as well. Let's do a couple more questions. Then I'm going to pop off of here. I think Northstar is maybe closing soon, and yeah, my hands are getting a bit cold. So a few more questions, and then I'm going to pop off of here. Armin says, hey Kevin, I have a problem with my feet while snowboarding. When I put my boots on, I feel nothing, but soon as I step into the bindings, under my toes start hurting so much I can't even stand it. Any idea? Oh man, sorry to hear that. It could be lots of things. Your boots could be maybe like forcing your foot into an awkward position. So it could be that. Your boots could be too stiff. They may be too small. Yeah, what type of boots do you have? So I've had like similar problems to that, with like certain types of boots, and usually it's when the boot is like stiffer and is like restrictive on my foot. Either like a restrictive boot usually hurts my foot, or a boot that's like just a little bit too small. So for me, like I ride Vans boots, the Vans High Standard. The ones I'm riding now are the Vans High Standard Pros. I've also had the Vans High Standard OGs, and they're like a softer boot. And I always like make sure I don't get them too small, and that usually fixes my foot pain problem. But yeah, let me know what boot you wear, and if it could be one of those. Glib says, is the Battalion Evil Twin a good board for larger features in the park? It's kind of like on the borderline. It might be like a little bit too soft, and because of the 3BT, it might be not quite aggressive enough. So maybe check out getting like one level up stiffer of a Battalion board. Maybe check out the Boss. Armin says, Burton Ruler Boa, but I tried 32 boots and the same. Forgot the name. Man, try putting your feet into some other boots and spending some time in them and seeing how that feels. Maybe you could even like strap in the store if they'll let you. But yeah, try some Vans boots on. Try the traditional laces with Vans, a softer boot, and see if that helps you out. And just wear them around the store. Yeah, strap them into a board, and just take your time with it, because yeah, foot pain can really ruin snowboarding for you. So if you can really dial in that like perfect pair of boots, that's huge. Sweet. So just gonna end it there. Thanks for hopping on and hanging out for a half an hour with me just here at Northstar. If you guys haven't yet, subscribe here to Snowboard Pro Camp. I'll also put links to all my gear in the description. If you guys want to support the channel, like if you guys buy any of your gear through those links, that's an awesome way to support the channel. And yeah, just really appreciate you guys hopping on here. Stay tuned. Tomorrow's video is like the first, I think, official vlog of the 2022-23 season. So opening week in Mammoth. If you guys want, definitely check out that video. It's a super fun one. But thank you guys for hopping on here with me. I hope you guys are having hope you have an early start to your snowboard season, and I'll catch you guys on here again soon. Awesome. Later, everyone.